Hey everybody, this is Ben here at thatcologneguy coming at you with a new review. How are you? Happy Friday. As you know, this channel always welcomes you to your weekend. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend and let us know, drop us a comment and let us know what your scent of the day and or weekend is. You know what mine was and will be because last week I got for Father's Day Terre D'Hermès. And so what I did last week was I talked about my scent of the day, which was actually the scent of the weekend for Father's Day weekend. And I enjoyed wearing this one. I had about 3 samples of this one, and I probably dropped around the house about 23,418 not so subtle hints that I really wanted this. I'm so happy I finally have a bottle. And this is my first Hermes bottle, actually, from my first official bottle from this house also, and so I'm excited about that. So and then I also went over the 10,000 view mark last week, and so that was we celebrated that episode, that milestone, and so thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and welcome aboard to all the new subscribers since last week. Welcome to the Cologne crew. I really appreciate all of your comments, and don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. All right, without further ado, let's dive in and give this the full review that it so merits. So here's a little backstory again. Like I mentioned last week, this is on my list of, along with Fahrenheit and others, of course. I'm going to make a top 5 list of fragrances that I initially did not like at all, and this is definitely one of them. You know, when it first came out with all the hype, I remember I was in an airport and I tested it. I sprayed it on one of those testing strips, and I just did not like it at all, and I did not understand the hype whatsoever. It does have an initial blast of overripe orange. I mean, it really does. It's meant to evoke this notion of walking in an orange grove with a light rain, wet soil, and wet cedar. And so that's my take anyway. And so the initial blast is you definitely need to think orange grove, overripe, and they need to be picked and eaten immediately. So the initial blast is off-putting. I'm not going to back down from that. But you know, everyone kept saying again how fantastic it was, and I thought I'm going to give this another try. So I contacted Hermes and I asked them for a sample, and they sent a few actually, and this is one of them, of course. And as soon as I started wearing it, then I really appreciated this one, and I positively love this juice. So here's what I would say. This review is probably not going to be terribly different from other reviews on this fragrance. The one thing, though, that I would want you to take from this is absolutely make sure that you give this a wearing. Make sure that you take one day, get a sample, and wear this for one day at least, and learn to appreciate it before you make a decision. Because if you're in an airport and you grab a testing strip and you just spray it, it's highly likely that you will not appreciate this. I certainly did not, and I thought it really is a very. It's just almost like I almost want to say rotten. It's very close to a rotten orange. It's very overripe. We'll go with. So again, after the initial blast, give it a wear. This thing really settles down in about 15 to 20 minutes. That's it. And so I can easily get past the initial blast. So that's the one thing I would want you to take from this review, especially if you've taken a look at other reviewers. We're all pretty much going to say that around the same thing. I have a feeling. I haven't looked at others, but I mean, this really is a masterpiece. There's nothing else that I can say. This is claiming. I tell you what. Now that I have Jubilation 25 by Amouage, and I have this, and I have, of course, my signature scent, which is Aqua di Gio. I feel Do I want to say complete? Of course, I'm not going to stop getting more fragrances, but I have to say, I really, really like having this in my collection, and it is truly a heavy hitter, and it is an amazing fragrance that is exceptionally well blended, and I usually go on my initial reaction to a fragrance. Very few fragrances will change my mind, and this is one of them, and I admit it. Okay, there you have it. So let's take a look at the notes. So the notes really are going to be that initial orange blast. Now this is an EDT. This is the EDT, by the way. So don't forget the EDP, which is my review for next week. The EDP is going to have the orange toned down. So if you just say, look, I sampled this thing and I can't get past the whole orange grove thing, then you might want to consider the EDP, and I'll have a full review of that next week. So so orange and grapefruit, although I get more orange clearly, especially in the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then after that, you get vetiver, but it's just a fantastic vetiver. Vetiver is my favorite part of this fragrance. Cedar, and then so you've got orange, vetiver, cedar, and pepper. It would be the fourth one. And some people noted they find the pepper off-putting, especially in the beginning. I certainly do not. I find this to be, this is clearly walking through an orange grove with a light rain. The soil is wet, and the trees around you are wet, and you can really pick up cedar. And so it's a wonderful fragrance, and it really succeeds in capturing the essence of that experience. And so this is going to be very, very popular, folks, because you can really get a feel. It takes you there, and you really get a feel of walking out in nature in this orange grove, as I said, and I'm working harder on my descriptions, so you'll have to forgive me. I'm always envious of people who are able to really capture fantastic descriptions. For me, it's a little bit easier to talk about this in terms of adjectives and simply say, look, it hits the big three: sophistication, confidence, elegance. It really does. It really hits a home run for those three, and it's classy. This is a distinguished scent. It really is. It is more of a gentleman's fragrance, so I think most people wearing it's probably going to be over 40. But I don't. I mean, this just smells fantastic. I have a feeling, though, a lot of people are going to say, "Look, I have my signature scent. I had cool water. I did the 90. I worked my way up to this." Now, again, I got it right again. That I am not changing my signature scent. I love Acqua di Gio. When I'm 100, I'll still be loving Acqua di Gio. This is my 45th bottle. No, I'm kidding. But I will always have Acqua di Gio, and I really don't see anything beating it in the next 6 or 7 lifetimes. Now, that said, because I say this because I'm Fragrantica and base notes, people always talk about how you need a more trained nose, and you're just not getting it, right? And you have to develop your skills more. That's certainly fine, but I like what I like. Now, that said, I have a feeling that when you look at other reviewers, they're going to say things like, you will learn to appreciate this fragrance once you develop more of a nuanced smell, et cetera, et cetera. This really is well blended, and I think you're going to see 40 and up on the target audience for this. But anyway, I wanted to throw that out because it does smell fantastic. Okay, so those are the notes. Now, when it comes to projection, the projection is precisely what you would want, which is, at least in the U.S. here, people, it's kind of frowned upon to have, in certain places, I'm sure it's the more you smell, the better. But in the U.S., people kind of like more of a reserved smell that invites you to get closer. So they're going to absolutely love this because the projection on this really is about an elbow's length away from my body. So it's certainly, I wouldn't even, maybe the first half hour to an hour, it might be arm's length, but really it's about an elbow length from my body, which is, I think, again, I've said this before, that's not a shortcoming. I see it as a compliment. I really appreciate about this. In fact, one of the days I wore it, I just thought, okay, I don't smell it anymore. It must not be. And I know a couple people said, "Oh, wow, you really smell nice." So it's going to last longer than you think. It's just that the projection is not going to be, an amouage level. This is an EDT, but again, I say that it's not limiting. If you wanted better projection, you could put these on you could spray it on your clothes. I normally do not, although I do in these episodes. But okay, and then longevity. Longevity is 6 to 8. It's a work shift. I would have liked a tad more. And you guys know that my rating system is out of 5 sprays, so that means I can't do a half spray. So there's no 4.5 or 3.5. And I have to say, I usually dock some points here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to dock any though this time, but I would have liked just a little bit more on the longevity. That said, it's clearly a work shift, and it's clearly, if you put this on for the evening, it will be 5, and it'll take you till midnight or 1 a.m. And of course, longer if you put it on your clothes, hair, etc., or if you simply want to reapply. There you have it. So really, really fantastic work there when it comes to projection, and maybe would have liked just a little tiny bit more on longevity. So I've already said that this is going to end up being 40 and up for on the men's side. This is a pretty close. Some people are going to tell you this is a totally unisex fragrance. I don't think it is. If you looked at something like LuckyScent.com, and if you look on their continuum, where they would have, feminine here, masculine, and then unisex is right in the middle. This is somewhere between unisex and masculine. Can a woman pull this off? Absolutely. But I really see this as a fragrance that women are going to absolutely love on men, because it really is a gentleman's fragrance. It's not an out of the shower fragrance, but this is certainly one that is going to lie between, again, the unisex and masculine. So it's very, very professional, and really the thing that a lot of guys are going to like about this one is it just has a hint. Just a hint of masculinity and sensuality that I think a lot of people are going to like. Very, very professional, very distinguished, very sophisticated, very classy, and just the perfect touch of sexiness. So I think you're absolutely going to like this. I don't know how anyone couldn't like it once they get past the original blast of the overripe orange. Okay, so target audience would be mostly men. Don't be surprised, though, if you see a lot of reviews of women saying that they love it. It smells fantastic, guys. I mean, it's brilliant. So don't be surprised at all if you see a lot of women reviewers saying that they bought it for themselves. But again, target audience would be guys, and I think you're going to see this is something, again, that you're going to see a lot of women buying it for their man. That's my opinion, and it's not for the out of shower type. It's not fresh in that sense, but it is distinguished. Okay, so in terms of season, I have to say this really is practically every season but summer. I don't know that I would see this too much as a summer scent. I see it more as a fall, spring. Actually, I would even say fall, winter, and then in spring as well. There's nothing to say you couldn't wear it in the summer, but I don't see this as a typical summer scent, and I wouldn't call it highly versatile in the sense that I don't know that I'd be wearing this, all summer. You could, especially if you're going to take it to work. If you're working indoors, it doesn't matter anyway, right? But I wouldn't probably wear this to the 4th of July barbecue party. All right, so. Mostly, I would call this mostly fall. For me, this is mostly fall, and it would go into winter. I could see this as a spring as well because of the natural element, and I probably would take a pass on it in the summer. So there you have it there as far as the seasons, and as far as the event, this Look, because of the sophistication, the only thing I would say is this is kind of a semi-casual or a semi-formal, excuse me, or up. In other words, I don't know if you'd be able to pull this off with kind of the cargo shorts and metal t-shirt look. This is going to be something that for people who dress up quite a bit, which is why I mentioned work. And so the versatility, because it is so elegant, the versatility is not as high because this wouldn't be something that you'd probably pull off at a 4th of July barbecue. You could. I mean, you're going to get compliments. I don't care where you wear it, but I would say that it because it smells so distinct. I don't know that it's an incredibly versatile fragrance. Okay, in the sense of informal wear, I don't know that would be you'd be able to pull this off. I mean, if you've got your Simpsons T-shirt and you know. And cargo shorts as you're going to go to the pub, I don't know that you would want to wear Terre D'Hermès. So there you have it, folks. Now, is it a classic? It is. Does it live up to the hype? It does. In fact, I would even say, dare I say, it exceeds the hype. So it's a 2006. So of course, there are going to be tons of reviewers out there doing this one already. But I really wanted to do this. And let's talk about the bottle. So I have one thing that's a little bit different. I don't know if it's all Hermès products, but you can see here on the box. I love this thing so much. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to recycle the box, folks. You can see here it's got the information on the box itself. And then something that's different for me, this might be just any Hermès, but notice on the bottle, though, there's nothing. Usually there's information or, you know, like a sticker that has the pertinent information on it. This doesn't have anything. I usually put my fragrances in a closet and close it. This one, I'm having a difficult time leaving it, putting it in there. I really feel like this one actually, I usually keep one bottle in my bathroom, and in the past it's always been Amouage, but I think actually it's going to be this one because I just love the bottle. It's very, very classy. It's super, I mean, when you set it down, it's really heavy. Now, this is a 200 milliliter, 6.7 ounce, and this is a pretty heavy bottle. I love the minimalist construction. It's just beautiful. And so the lid, if you don't know the cap, it stays on, and then you turn clockwise till you lower it, so that way it's got the sprayer, and then you can spray. You can see here the sprayer is fantastic. Let's see if I can get one. There we go. Yes. And so the sprayer is fantastic. And then when you're done, you go counterclockwise and it'll lock into place. I think you can hear it. There you go. So I really, really appreciate the bottle. I normally don't. The sprayer, the bottle, everything about this just exudes success. Okay. And on every other cliche you want to add, but it really does. If you are out there looking for a fragrance, I know that confidence is, a lot of times people will say, you know, you can a fragrance will not give you confidence. You either have it or you don't. And I totally agree. I get it. That said, though, I do admit that this one, just like the Jubilation 25 from Amouage, it really is regal. It really does give you an extra edge of confidence. As corny and cliche as that might sound, it is true. That's the bottle. I wanted you to see that. And then, of course, if you're new to my channel, you will see that I always rate my fragrances out of 5 sprays, and then I spray that number on me. You know, I've thought a lot about this week. I normally, if I have a little bit of grumpiness when it comes to the longevity, and also the fact that the versatility isn't amazing, I usually drop it down to 4. I usually take off 1 spray. I have to tell you guys, I'm not going to do that. This one is truly worthy of a 5 out of 5 sprays. This is, I reserved that just for my gymnastics 10, and this is worthy of that. I'm willing, just for Jean-Claude Ellena, I am willing to overlook, for the EDT, overlook that the longevity isn't as good as I wanted, and I will spray it on clothes, et cetera, et cetera. and I'm also willing to overlook the fact that it's not incredibly versatile. And I say that only because it smells so fantastic and sophisticated, right? It's only not versatile just because it smells so great that I don't know if I want to wear this with I feel like I need to up my fashion game for this scent. So that's not the scent's problem, right? So I am going to go with 5 out of 5. This is a 5 out of 5 sprays. And I know that you're surprised. Most people are going to say this. Every once in a while, you're going to get somebody who says that they just can't get past the original orange blast. But this is superb. It truly, truly is. Will it ever overtake? Whoop! I did it again. Will it ever overtake Acqua di Gio? No. Nope. For me, in my list, in my collection, it will not. But will this creep up into my top 5? It really, really could. It's already a top 10 for me all time. And I have a feeling like this is going to creep up into my top 5 of all time. Yes, indeed, I like it that much. My first Hermès, I positively love their customer service, and I love what they do. As I mentioned last week, they have this thing. If you contact them and ask them for a sample or two, they will send you complimentary samples. Give this one a chance. It certainly is worth it. As I mentioned last week, I ran a poll on Fragrantica, and it was whether or not to get the EDT or the EDP. Next week, I'll be doing a full review on the EDP, and I'm told that the orange is toned down in that one. I am so happy that I have the EDT, and it is time. I can tell you now the rest of my day is going to be great because I am smelling like Terre D'Hermès. If you speak French, let me know if I got the pronunciation correct. All right, here we go. Are you guys ready for the 5 sprays for Terre D'Hermès? All right, here we go. I'm going to go 1 on each side of the neck, 1 on each wrist, and then 1 on the back of the neck today because I want the sillage, I want the trail to go by as I walk by people and they'll go, wow, what is it that you are wearing? All right. Boom. And never before, I think this is my first time. Back of the neck, boom, for the 5th spray. 5 out of 5 sprays, folks. If you have a real problem with this one after the initial blast, then that tells me either you don't like the orange, but you don't like vetiver, or that you prefer the out of shower real clean or maybe ultra sweet fragrances. But as far as the woody spices, this one is pretty much the crown jewel. So my hat goes off to you, Jean-Claude Ellena. You certainly have lived up to the hype. So there you have it, folks. Terre D'Hermès. I think I've given it enough compliments, so I'm out of here. Again, thank you so much for all of your comments. I really appreciate all of the feedback that you guys have given me to improve the channel. And again, always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody.